before getting back to his usual whining about personal grievances, where he incoherently plays the victim over and over again. While his base may love it, those antics were better suited for when Trump was up by several points on Joe Biden after their debate. It's not the right strategy for someone locked in a dead heat, as today's New York Times Siena poll reminded us. While other polls show Harris slightly ahead of Trump, this one is unchanged from July, immediately after Joe Biden's exit. A new CBS YouGov poll of battleground states, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, also shows a highly competitive race in all three states, with all these numbers within the margin of error. One big question for Tuesday: which candidate will do a better job of convincing voters they are the change candidate? Today's New York Times poll showed that while 60% of likely voters are looking for a major change, only 25% think that Harris is likely to bring about that change, compared to 53% who think Trump will. And speaking of change, the Harris campaign announced this morning that Harris and Tim Walz will kick off a tour of battleground states on Thursday, charting what they call a new way forward. The campaign will also drop a nationwide ad campaign touting that very same message. Kicking us off tonight, Jennifer Horn, former New Hampshire Republican Party chair and host of the Is It Just Me or Have We All Lost Our Minds podcast, and Jennifer Rubin, MSNBC political analyst and an opinion writer, at the Washington Post. It's great to have both of you with us. Jennifer Horn, I'll start with you. Clearly, the Harris campaign here has been leaning into this change messaging. It's certainly one that is resonating with voters. As we just saw, affirmed by that New York Times Siena College poll showing that voters do actually want change. What can she do on Tuesday to solidify that label?
Well, I think she wants to continue with the messaging that she's been, building her campaign on ever since she became the nominee. And that is a much more optimistic, positive, forward-looking message. We've lost track of how many times just in the last week that Donald Trump has denigrated the country, has gone on some sort of social media rant about negative, awful, terrible things. Everything's a cheat. Everything's going to be rigged. Our country is becoming a third world nation. His view of the country has been so dark and so gloomy for so long. I really believe that one of her greatest strengths is that optimism. And she's talking about policy points in a way that is very forward-looking, whether it's about the $50,000 tax credit for new businesses, for example. She's talking about issues that really critical suburban woman cares about, the cost of childcare and education and the cost of raising a child. She's talking about healthcare issues for women. But she's doing all of it in this new way forward optimism and energy that Donald Trump doesn't have. I think if she can manifest that on the debate stage, I think she'll be very successful.
So to that point, Jennifer Rubin, the vice president is less known than Trump. Trump has been around on the scene, at least in the cultural sense as well as in the political sense, for almost 2 decades now. She has way more upside, way more room to grow. This will likely be the largest audience that both her and Trump will get to speak to before the election, if any of the past debates and their ratings or audience numbers is an indication. What is the most important message for her to convey to this large audience that may both include Democrats, Republicans, and independents, not just at the DNC, for example, where people who are watching it are probably inclined to watch the DNC because they support it or they're behind it?
I think she wants to say that she represents a broad coalition that runs from Liz Cheney to Bernie Sanders, both of whom have endorsed her. And that if you believe in democracy, if you believe in a government that does positive things for the middle class, for the working class, if you believe America is a force for good in the world, then you should be with her. So I think there are certainly policy position she wants to underscore. She is very much the pro-choice candidate. He brags about states now being able to ban abortion. She definitely wants to paint him as the friend of fat cats. He wants to re-up his own tax cuts and go even further. She's looking to give middle-class tax cuts. And as Jennifer said, to give support to middle class, whether it's the child tax credit, whether it's a $25,000 credit for new home buyers. So there's a lot of contrast. But I think most of all, she wants to present herself as the calm, cool adult in the world. We don't have to go back not only to the bad policies, not only to COVID, but to the insanity, to the insults, to the degradation of our fellow Americans and the military. And so I think her appearing as the adult, as the calm one, not getting baited into any kind of back and forth with Trump will be to her advantage. And I think simply giving him the back of the hand when he tries some of these tactics should be very effective.
Yeah, and she has demonstrated she can certainly do that both in hearings and in previous vice presidential debates when she told Mike Pence who repeatedly tried to interrupt her, that she was talking. Jennifer Horn, Trump has been more incoherent, certainly more whiny, and as lacking in discipline as usual. This is probably why his campaign fought to have his mic turned off while Harris is speaking. Is Trump's recent rambling something that Harris can use to her advantage? I mean, just let Trump be Trump and let him repel voters like he did in the 2020 debate with Biden?
Well, that's definitely, I'm sure, going to be part of her strategy. You know, he has always been a ranter, a rambler, but his ramblings have changed significantly in character over the last couple of years. And these last couple of months especially, he is falling apart in the face of the Harris-Walz campaign. And I think we're probably talking about, you know, the influence of a couple of different things. But we've all seen this in our own lives with different people that we've known who are 78 or 80 years old, or sometimes 88 or 90 years old. He does seem to be struggling with coherency, with fluidity, with comprehension of what the question and the topic at hand really is. And I think that the other piece of this is that he is truly a misogynist. And what we know about misogynists is that they live on tales and lies and creation of stories and facts. And when you reach the point that he seems to be at mentally, and you can't track that anymore, you can't keep track of those things, we really see a deterioration in his ability to communicate. I think that's going to work very much in favor, obviously, of Kamala Harris.
Jen Rubin, one area where Trump has been trying to moderate his message and, quite frankly, not succeeding is on reproductive rights. He knows that it's a losing issue for him. He keeps flip-flopping on it. You know, quite honestly, Joe Biden famously fumbled the abortion question during their June debate, couldn't even take the fight to Trump in that debate. How do you think the abortion issue will be handled by both candidates? Because I'm sure Harris will be better than Biden at being able to, as we've seen over the last several weeks, to prosecute the case of Trump's position on reversing reproductive rights in this country.
I think she uses the same approach she did in her speech at the convention. They are out of their minds if they think women are going to allow the government to track their periods, if we're going to allow the government to regulate or ban IVF, if they are going to force teens who have been raped or are the victims of incest to be forced to give birth. And I think she just has to say that emphatically. And when either she or he bring up the topic, then she simply has to say, he'll say anything to get elected. He even now wants to be the champion of abortion rights. But his supporters are supporting him because he repealed Roe v. Wade, because he appointed justices who rolled these things back. And I think to her prosecutorial skills, if the moderators don't bring it up, and it would be journalistic malpractice if they don't, she's got to bring up the fact he is threatening to imprison his enemies. He is threatening a bloody roundup of 11 to 12 million people.
All right, Jennifer Horn, Jennifer Rubin, thank you to the both of you for starting us off tonight. Greatly appreciate it, as always. Next up, more threats from Trump and his base to limit people's life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Stay with us.
Hey, Flo. Cool leg warmers.
Thanks. They're just for the bus ride to work. They're not part of the official uniform.
No tunes today?
No. My apartment was robbed last night. Took my cable-ready TV, VCR, portable cassette player.
Yep, all the latest tech.
If only Progressive had renter's insurance, like their home insurance.
Then we could bundle our cars and get the same 24/7 protection. I think we just invented that. This is the best day ever.
Well, I still got robbed.
It's still a pretty good day.
Your cybersecurity audit is on the horizon. But between all the spreadsheets and systems and employees to follow up with, are you even getting anywhere? You're lost at GRC. Vanta helps you chart a course to continuous compliance by monitoring all the systems your business relies on to ensure compliance with SOC 2, ISO 27001, and even frameworks you've defined yourself. So audit prep becomes a breeze. Automate compliance and prove trust. Get started at Vanta.com.
What should I choose? Grand dilemma.
Play solitaire or go shopping. Why choose? Join Solitaire Grand Harvest Shopping Spree and you can do both. Download the best solitaire game you'll ever play for free and enter for your chance to win $1,000 for an amazing shopping spree. There's a new winner every day. Download Solitaire Grand Harvest today and get the chance to win $1,000 every day.
Oh, and it's free. No strings attached.
This is Square for restaurants. This is a big, tasty point of sale combo with an extra side of service. Built for fast-paced, growing, need to streamline my whole operation yesterday restaurants. Square is built for more orders, more openings, more opportunities. For more than 100,000 restaurants nationwide. Square, big in restaurants.
Gonna do the two-step, then cowboy boogie. Grab a sweetheart and spin out with him. Do the hold down and get into it.
You could start a farm in your apartment, or you could get fresh groceries delivered.
We have to move. I've been using this product called Muesli, and I've been telling everybody about it because it's been life-changing to me.
I go into a lot of things thinking it's not going to work, and I thought muesli would be the same thing, but it wasn't.
People are like, what are you doing? Because my skin looks completely different than it did. I feel like people can see me for me because of how confident I feel.
Find the real you again. Go to muesli.com/TV.
When the details take precedence, and each piece is crafted with intention, the rest falls perfectly into place. We strip away everything but the essential, finding sophistication in simplicity. And what we're left with are thoughtful bedrooms for modern living. Thuma.
Go beyond the headlines with the MSNBC app. Read, watch, listen to breaking news and analysis anytime, anywhere. Go beyond the what to understand the why. Download the new MSNBC app now.
On day one, I will revoke Joe Biden's cruel policies on so-called gender-affirming care. My Department of Education will inform states and school districts that if any teacher or school official suggests to a child that they could be trapped in the wrong body, they will be faced with severe consequences, including potential civil rights violations for sex discrimination. Can you imagine you're a parent and your son leaves the house and you say, Jimmy, I love you so much, go have a good day in school, and your son comes back with a brutal